Hey, welcome to A Conversation With. My name is Philip DeFranco, and today we're having a conversation with James Charles.
Hi, sister.
Always on.
Always on, ready to go.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I was saying before we start filming, I was excited because I haven't really seen you on a podcast for like a long form interview. The closest thing,
Yeah.
well, there is No Jumper, but that was a while ago.
That was a long time ago with me and my little brother.
Yeah.
I did that one. I like Adam 22, but my little brother was a huge fan, so that was like.
So that was the end.
Yeah, I really wanted my little brother to get that experience.
And thank you for coming in, because I know that I saw on your Twitter and we were just talking about that you're not feeling good.
I've been sick for a month now. I'm like really severely concerned. I went yesterday though. It's not the coronavirus, and that's all that matters.
That's the only thing you care about.
The only thing I cared about.
I gotta check.
Oh, thank God.
Well, then you'd be what? You'd be like case number 13. I don't know. By Wednesday, maybe it'll be a different number.
I'm so spooked at this point.
Yeah?
But yeah, I went in. I've been sick since New Year's. I got a little bit better. Then I filmed my new show, which was filming every single day from like 3 a.m. to like midnight. So I was getting 3 hours of sleep, and then that was not
filming from
good.
3 a.m. to midnight?
Waking up at 3, doing my makeup, getting to set at like 6:37, and then filming until like 9.
2
then,
days
like,
of that.
going
I'm the
home.
worst version of myself.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. Like, it was so much fun. It was one of the best weeks of my entire life.
You're like the age to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you can bounce back. If I have like we have a
well, clearly not though.
Maybe that's what it is. No, well, because we have like a first Friday where we take the whole company out, and I always have. Now I'm at the age where I have to go like, okay, this is my limit. Otherwise, I will literally lose a day.
Yeah,
can't do it.
Yeah,
no,
I'm not feeling too hot, but got my medicine, got my Z-Pack, got my nice hot tea. So I was excited to be here. I wasn't gonna miss it.
Thank you. For someone that somehow does not know who you are.
Yes.
Who are you? What do you do? How would you explain that in like 30 seconds?
Okay, love that. I'm James Charles. I'm a 20-year-old beauty guru on YouTube, but I'm mostly known for my personality, and I really, my videos are like entertainment videos that are rooted in beauty. So it's not necessarily makeup tutorials. It's more like fun ways to play with makeup, have fun, laugh, that happen to be about like the beauty subject.
Sure. And did you kind of end up making that because that's what you watched, or is it just what came to you naturally?
I grew up on YouTube watching everybody. So like I've been watching everybody on the platform since like it first began like several years ago, which was super cool to like grow up being fans of all these people, and now like actually having like their phone numbers in my phone to like text and talk to all the time. It's super cool. But I watched a lot of beauty videos growing up, like tutorials and stuff. And as I kind of grew into the community, which happened by accident, people just left comments asking for tutorials on the looks that I was doing. Because a lot of my Instagram was not like pretty glam like I have on today. It was more like creative, like acid rainbow dripping from my face, or like turning myself into a deer for like, it was really Halloween type looks, but like all year round. Like that's the type of look that I love doing. So people were like, I want to see videos on how you do these. So that's kind of what like sparked it into the more like artsy realm. And then I had a scandal a few years ago where I took a photo with a fan. It was the Flashback Mary scandal, where I took a photo with a fan and I looked white because my powder like flashback in the light, and then they desaturated it and turned into this huge meme. And at first, and this was right after
I don't know anything about this.
Okay, I can show you.
Yeah.
It was like, this was also like right after I signed with CoverGirl too. So everyone was using it as like, oh my God, James cannot do makeup. Like the first CoverGirl can't even do his own makeup. Like what's going on? So at first it was really embarrassing and like really sad for me. And then I was like, okay, this is stupid. Like this happens to everybody. Also, like this photo's edited as well. So like, what's the point in like crying about this when I can make it funny? So I ended up making a video where I turned myself into the actual memes, like fully painted myself using black and white body paint and stuff, and like reenacted like the opening scene from It, because like the trailer had just come out at the time. And that was kind of like my first time where instead of like doing just a beauty video, it was like taking, of course, the makeup element, but mixing it together with comedy and like writing scripts and like making it like more interactive for the fans and like making it like an entertainment concept rather than just a video. And for me, that was so much fun. And it was the first time I was really like able to take something that people were laughing at me about and like turn it into like a laughing with me situation. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is good for my channel. And I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of what changed the direction of my channel into more like entertainment based content rooted in beauty. And I feel like that's what's caused me to like really skyrocket.
Yeah,
in the YouTube space.
Your channel and then just the beauty space in general has been interesting to watch, because when I think of old school YouTube beauty, I think it's hard to think of it without Michelle Phan, right? And so it's like,
I love her so much.
Yeah, and she's amazing, right? I think one of the first people that were, I think outsiders looked at and went, oh wow, this could be a really big business, because she actually turned it into one. And and then obviously like left for a while because the internet is the internet. But so going back to kind of you starting, actually, that's one of the first times I kind of discovered you was the CoverGirl story. I think we covered on the show.
You did.
And then
you did cover it. I remember watching your video about it.
And then like kind of one of the first things that I ever saw of you as like not a story was my old buddy, Shay Carl, bumped into you into an airport.
Yes.
Was that like in that 1 week of it being announced?
I don't remember exactly. I remember watching the Shaytards growing up. Like I was a huge fan of their entire channel. And I got the opportunity to work with CoverGirl as their first male ambassador, which was still to this day like the craziest thing that I've ever been involved with. I'm so grateful for it. And I think that's what really like took me from just being like a YouTuber to more of like a household name, which is super cool because obviously CoverGirl is such an international brand that like everyone knows about CoverGirl rather than like just the internet community, I guess, which is super cool. But yeah, I was still going to high school at the time, like full time, but was getting the opportunity to fly out to LA for these different photo shoots or magazine shoots or like meetings and stuff. And CoverGirl happened to be one of them, like, which is so crazy.
Have you ever had a regular job?
Yes.
What was
I worked at a frozen yogurt shop called 16 Handles in my hometown.
How old were you?
16.
Okay.
17. No, 16. I was 16. Yeah.
Okay. How was that experience?
It was good. I loved it. I went to high school all throughout like my normal high school years as everyone does. I ended up graduating early to start doing like this job full time. But there was a point where I was like literally waking up for school every single morning at like 6 a.m., going to school and taking like all honors and AP classes until like 2 p.m. when we got out, and then going home, doing like a makeup look or filming a YouTube video when I like first had started my Instagram and my channel and stuff. And I was like trying to like do something with it, like filming a look or creating a look until like 4:55 p.m., wiping it off and then speeding, like literally speeding. I can't believe I never got pulled over in my car to the frozen yogurt shop down the street, working a shift from like 5 p.m. if I made it on the dot until like 10 or 11, depending on what time I closed, and then going home and then doing homework and editing that photo or video, like multitasking at the same time.
It might sound like a random question. Do you feel like you pulled anything from that job experience?
I would love to say that it helped me a lot with customer service, but it didn't because everyone there was genuinely so nice.
Okay.
Like I never actually never had an experience where like a bad or like
Karen
nasty
came in, was just like,
never a Karen where I had to like, I wish though, because like I feel like I would handle that well, but I also would have been fired on the spot because I could not like that.
I wonder if there is a big difference between like being behind a counter in that way or being a server. Because as a server, you have so many bad people. Or retail. Ugh.
I feel like if anything, it teaches me a lot about time management and how to balance things that I cared about. Because I, at the time, was already starting in this YouTube space. I wasn't making a lot of money from it. So I did like need some sort of income. But I've always been really good at like starting businesses online and finding ways to earn money and like saving it. Like as a kid, like I always would go out to dinner with my friends. I would always take my friends out to dinner, and it was always like me paying for it. Not because my family came from money, because we didn't, but because I was really good at like making money and like finding ways to make money, which is like weird. But like, I don't know, like I used to run a Twitter account when I was like 11, and I like had ads on it, and it was like relatable quotes and stuff. Yeah. And then I sold it and like started.
So you had like one of the first meme pages?
Yeah. When I was like 11 years old.
Can you say what that is?
It's called That's What Kids Do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
when I was 11 years old. Yeah, it like blew up. It got to like 80,000 followers, which at the time was like a lot. And then it got deleted because I like put in my Twitter bio, like I'm 11. And of course you had to be 13.
You decided to flex.
Because I was proud of it. I was like, oh my God, look at me. Like I'm 11 years old running this whole page. And then it got deleted. So my mom had to like write a note to Twitter. Yeah, they really thought. My mom had to like write in like a legal note to Twitter being like, oh, I managed this account with him. Like he's good. They gave it back, but then it got hacked. So I deleted that account, and then I made a Tumblr. It was like selling themes because I used to like code HTML and CSS as a kid.
Oh, wow.
And like that was fun. And then I eventually got bored and then just started doing hair and makeup. So, but I had money and stuff. Oh, I made Instagram accounts as well. I had like a Nickelodeon theme one and like a movie and like a song lyrics theme one. Sold both of those for like $15,000 when I was like 15 years old. So like that was like my like little surplus of money that I would use for like my Chili's and McDonald's
for a 15-year-old. That's wild.
I've always loved doing that stuff like that. For me, like I love building. I love building. I love like marketing. Like that is why I feel like I'm good at what I do, because of course it takes like makeup talent and like personality and a love for people, which I also have, but like you have to be good at like marketing and like thinking ahead of time and like coming up with those type of ideas.
Do you feel like you could ever go back to having a boss?
No, definitely not.
No. Well, so I mean, you have, I imagine, people in your life now that help.
Yeah, for sure. I have amazing people in my life. I have a very small team. Lewis, that's sitting over there, is one of them. He's my head of content. He actually was my best friend growing up's older brother. We used to hate each other. And he started working as my editor a few years ago, and that was great. And then as we've kind of like grown and expanded the team, I really realized that he is so good at like keeping me humble and like holding me down to earth, but also like looking out for like possible scandals or problems or like things that like could be said or taken wrong in a video and stuff. And he's really good at like being kind of like my brand manager, if you will, and like keeping me on the right track. I also have a full-time manager that works with me that handles all brand deals and like conversations and stuff, and like an assistant too. So I have a tiny little team, but it's a really great team that I'm super grateful for.
No, I always wonder, because I like 5 years ago I sold my company thinking like, oh, this is gonna be collaborative, and then I had a boss and I was like, oh, I was past this and I did not realize it.
I don't do well with. Oh, sorry, go.
No. That was pretty much the end. And then now I don't have that boss anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm a horrible employee.
Yeah, I don't really do well with like corporate structure. The frozen yogurt job was fun because my manager and boss were so nice. Like so nice. It was like an older lesbian woman, and her son was like my manager, and he was gay as well. So it was like a cute little fun like LGBTQ plus froyo shop in the middle of Bethlehem, New York. So they were really easy to get along with. Like they were amazing to work with. So I feel like I never got the experience, thank God, of like an awful like let's go type of boss, because like I just don't work well in that environment. I'm definitely the type of person that like needs to be in charge of making decisions and like executing. I'm very much the type of person that's like, if you want something done right, do it yourself. Type of creator.
I definitely get that. Yeah. So something I want to do, the asking about the job isn't kind of coming out of nowhere. You're 20, which is still always shocking, just like how, because you've been on the platform for 4 years. So I was like, oh yeah, he's what? Maybe like 23, 24. No, 20
I
years
started
old.
At 16.
Crazy. You probably, unless something goes crazy wrong, never going to have another normal job ever again.
Yeah, no.
So what I wanted to do was ask you job interview questions.
Ooh, okay.
It's more on the kind of the fun or different side, because I don't want to, because you don't really, you've been you for the past 4 years, right? You haven't been going from yogurt shop to competing yogurt shop. So you ready?
Yeah, go.
Okay. And this is, for some of these are my first time.
Okay.
So we'll see. Are you, I'm sorry, wait. So James Charles, you're here for the job.
Yes. I really,
apparently I just decided in the moment this is a role play.
Yeah, I really want it.
It says here that you haven't had a regular job for 4 years.
This is true.
What's with the lapse?
Well, I don't even what am I interviewing for? I feel like it's a better way to frame this.
You are upper management at a call center. Oh, that sounds
Oh God. Okay.
Wow, I'm projecting on you.
Am I okay? Well, over the past this is good. Okay, I can do this. Over the last 4 years, I've taken some time off to pursue a job in entertainment and social media, which obviously is not exactly the same as being a call center manager, but over the past few years, I've learned a lot about interacting with different people, how to manage expectations, how to market to people, and how to make people excited about whatever they are purchasing or wanting to try out. So therefore, being a manager at a call center will be good for me to call these people and tell them what they need to purchase for the company, and also handle the employees.
I'm really sorry that didn't work out for you, though. So,
me too.
Would you describe yourself as more of a hunter or a gatherer?
Ooh, that's I would describe myself as more of a hunter. I definitely am the type of person that goes out looking for opportunities rather than the type of person that waits for opportunities to come to me. Period. Period. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. You're a new addition to the crayon box. What color would you be and why?
I would definitely be a nice black, because black is a good color. It's a neutral color, so it blends with everybody. You can use it to darken different shades or blend other shades together or outline shades, which really gives a corporate structure some shape. I'd be fired on the spot.
I love it.
I don't know how to answer. Why would I ever be applying to a call center?
Hey, the thing is, the words that you say, it only 30% matters. It's the way you say it. And until the end, where you make the face of like, Do you believe what I said? You're killing it.
Yeah.
You're killing it. 3. We finish this interview. You step outside of the office. You find a lottery ticket. You win $10 million. What do you do?
Invest all 10 million of it.
Just boom, done. Find money manager. Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I would do even if it was right now as well. But yeah.
You're like immediately.
Yeah, invest all of it.
Okay, let's say you have to spend $1 million of it. The 9 million. What would you do with that one?
Okay, $1 million. I would. Well, it depends on my current life, or like this is like my job applicant life, or like the call center.
So before the success, because obviously.
Okay. If I would found $10 million, I had to spend $1 million and invest 9. I would. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no,
I would put a down payment down on a house. Mm-hmm. If I was still living in like New York, I would put a down payment down on a new car because I was driving my dad's at the time. I would. I
was like, you have a place you sleep, place to go other places where you don't sleep.
If it were any other job other than a call center, I would invest in other things to help me do that job better. Although, like, I don't think like a headset and a good like microphone is like is that big of an investment out of the 1 million. Like, for example, if I was going to be a YouTuber, right? Like, I would like invest in like a camera and like a lighting setup. But for a call center, I guess a down payment, house, car.
Well, I guess because kind of on that note. No, kind of on that note. If you couldn't be in the space that you're in now, or a call center, what do you think that you?
I'd be a
done?
lawyer for sure.
For real?
Yeah.
Is that what you like? That was the game plan before all of this blew up?
No, but I'm really good at arguing. Like, I love arguing. I love like I mean, like, I'm good at arguing. I'm good at like proving a point. Even if I know that I'm wrong, like I can still convince you that like I might be right, which is like weird, but I've been that way since I was a little kid. I like arguing, but I love the law. I love like criminology. I love just like legal stuff in general. Like, it's very fascinating to me to like understand the law and understand how court cases work. And especially like as someone who's come into a platform and like understood the privilege and power that I do have, like it's so frustrating sometimes to see court cases and things happen that are just like so ridiculous. And it's like how
is there something,
how did we get to this place?
Is there something kind of fresh in your mind?
I mean, like just yesterday, Kesha ended up having to pay Dr. Luke.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yes, it just happened yesterday, which like there's so many things, but like that one I read about like this morning, which is just like crazy. Like, how does that even happen? Or like there's even times too where like did you know this might be interesting to you? If paparazzi like take a photo of you for like Getty Images or something, like if you're just like walking in the street, if a celebrity or like an influencer repost that photo, the paparazzi can sue them.
It's like,
did you know that?
Yeah.
I think that is the absolute most ridiculous thing ever. I think that is so crazy.
It is. Like, I understand the debate, but morally it
morally
feels
it's ridiculous.
Disgusting.
See, I think if you're sitting down for a photo shoot with somebody, like, and it's like you're like consenting to your photo being taken, in that case, like they own the photo.
Sure.
Like, because you're paying a photographer to do their job, and like they're bringing their equipment, their lighting, and like they're producing a beautiful photo of you. In that case, they own the photo. And if you post that without like their permission and their right, like, yeah, that like that's a problem. Influencers and celebrities are not like, mostly celebrities are not signing up to be like photographed by paparazzi. It's like they're running after them, chasing them, stalking their daily lives, taking these photos of them that are like usually not very flattering, not very well composed either. And it's like they're just gonna, like, if they do get a good one, they're gonna sue. Absolutely not. I think it's so stupid. It's crazy.
I guess the argument would be you're in public, so there's no reasonable expectation of privacy from a legal standpoint. But then it also feels somewhat dehumanizing because you're just like, you're like, you're not really a person.
Well, you're not
you don't
supposed
have
to
ownership
take
of
photos
yourself.
or videos of people in public without their consent.
Is that a legal thing?
I'm almost positive it is, yeah.
I was like, this is why I have writer researchers.
I don't know.
Call the lawyers.
There's privacy laws. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. See, that's something I'm not going to argue with you on because I don't actually know. But I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know.
It does. I get you from the moral standpoint, just because it is, and we've seen examples, whether it's so old at this point, but like the Britney Spears, like stuck in traffic, being swarmed, people like. I remember that, like, for me, that was one of the, maybe I'm misremembering, it was like one of the weirdest things of just like being able to see everything happen live on, I think it was probably Twitter at that point, or just maybe even on the TMZ website, of just like watching a person fall.
Yeah.
Or like, that was horrifying. But I get you from a moral standpoint. But yeah,
it's just weird. There's just certain things or like certain like court cases or certain things that I'll see and I'll be like, that is like, who made that law? Like, and like, how is that still existing? And like, how do we fix that?
Yeah.
So it could be something for the future. Like I'm definitely not like closed off to the idea. I actually thought about it last year. So.
But to have the ability to kind of like convey a point, get it across, get someone on your side, so good. Even though I have a job of, talking about the news and then conveying my opinion, I have always been so horrible at convincing somebody.
Yeah, like I mean, it's hard to do.
It's really hard to do. I remember I was like, God, at this point it has to be 13, 14 years ago. I was catfished, and I tried to like explain to my friend group, which was also online at that point because I was a big loner. I was like, she's not real. I got catfish.
Yeah.
And they believed her because I'm just not good.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, do you think I just went there for no reason and just like showed up to a house?
Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm really bad at that. Let's see. What do you think about when you're alone in your car?
Usually video ideas or like whatever I'm like working on next. Mm-hmm. I'm a workaholic, so I'm thinking about like work and like my job 24/7 usually.
Yeah, I'm running away from it 24/7. Ooh, yeah. I leave that. I've gotten really bad with it. It's kind of like with anything that you kind of quit cold turkey. Casey Neistat convinced me to just get off of Twitter. Did that.
Good for you. Wish I could do the same.
It was great. Then I was like, I'll do it a little bit. I'll do it from my computer. Now my usage on my phone is higher than ever.
Yeah.
And it's just, I try and escape. I'm trying to become two different people. Me here, me elsewhere. But do you feel like you get a chance to do that? Because your content is very much you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it definitely depends on like what I'm doing or who I'm with. Like I do make time for myself and for my friends always to like step back, take a chill pill, like watch movies, go to escape rooms, go out to dinner and stuff, like things that like I genuinely love to do. And like that's great, but at the same time, like a lot of my friends are involved in the space or like at least have jobs that are close to the space. Mm-hmm. And like it's a huge part of all of our lives. Like we're all on social media all day for our jobs anyway. So even if we're having free time, like we'll still gossip or talk about things that happened during that day or like talk about things in the news or like talk about somebody's video that was just uploaded or like what we loved or what we didn't love about it. So like it is such a huge part of my life that like I don't always turn it off, but like that's kind of more by choice than it is like by getting overwhelmed by it, I guess, if that makes sense.
You kind of saying that it pops a question in my head. Have you seen the new Taylor Swift documentary?
Loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely
right?
Loved it.
What do you think about the moment where it's like the political moment where she's like, I want to talk about this, and all of a sudden everyone around her is like, you need to shut the fuck up.
Well, I saw so many people on Twitter were like so angry with it, which I just don't understand because obviously this was filmed years ago as well. Like it was filmed over the course of the last like I think it was like 3 or 4 years.
I think that part was probably it was around the midterms. So it was probably in 2018, I think. But still, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But still, like at this point, almost 2 years ago.
As someone with a following, Taylor's absolutely right. You are taught to not have an opinion and not share it. And obviously politics are a very touchy subject right now. So I do respect her for getting involved and wanting to say something. Like I obviously have said things about politics online as well as most of us at this point have, thank God, because it's a mess. But I think like it when you're somebody that's that big, like you have to be careful. Like you do have to be careful of everything that you say. And even I am like nowhere near her scale. And obviously I don't have a problem speaking about politics, but there are subjects that I won't touch or that I won't speak on because it's just too risky to get involved with it. And it's like I've learned from having multiple scandals and saying things that I shouldn't have said that like people will attack you for everything that you say and do. And it's like really scary to watch your career plummet from something that you said either on purpose or something that you didn't say that people have now created a narrative around. Like it's horrifying. And like I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And like Taylor Swift is obviously like a multi-100 million or whatever super pop star, and I have a lot of love and respect for her. But I so many people will just say like, oh, it's important to speak on politics, but then it's like when she does, she still gets shit for waiting so long. Like do you want to make a change, or do you just want to get likes for shitting on her on Twitter? Well, like, what's the goal here?
I mean, I wouldn't call the entire internet this, but I think that there is a hefty amount of something is never good enough.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
Never soon enough, never perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. Have you ever had a moment where it's like you have that, because it's such a standout part of that documentary where it's like, okay, we're doing it. We're going to see. And then she posts, and then you kind of like see the reactions online, and then you just throw the phone away.
I mean, that was very much like what happened when I like posted my comeback video in 2019. That was like, I was like dreading whatever the result and like reaction was going to be, but I knew that like I just like Taylor, obviously that's not the same situation, but like I knew that like I had to address things and I had to like prove my point and stuff. It was horrifying though.
Has to
I
be
like
horrifying.
chucked my phone away after. I was like, I don't want to see this. I
pulled my laptop. I imagine though, like what had happened from kind of the first video, which in no way seemed planned or like, you know, or like thought I was just like, I have to say something.
Yeah, right? It was awful. It was like the worst apology video ever.
But like from that I feel like the following from that, did you feel like it made it easier or even harder to post that second video? Because maybe it was like, it felt like, you know what, I have less to lose, or this is it.
I think it was just more of like, I didn't know what the public's reaction was going to be. Because like in my heart, like I knew that I had the only thing on my side that mattered, which was the truth and like the receipts to back myself up. So like I was not like scared of like, I was proud of myself for putting together the video. I was proud of myself for owning everything. I was proud of myself for organizing my thoughts and like defenses together, but I still like didn't know if anybody was going to believe it. Like I had no idea what people were going to say.
Well, you can't predict the internet.
You can't predict anything. So, I mean, the first video I uploaded obviously in a panic because I was across the world in Australia, like about to do a meet and greet when I watched the original video go up.
Everyone always says like
I had to upload something. Yeah. I couldn't like, because it's one of those things where it's like if I waited a full, like if I didn't say anything and then got photographed doing a meet and greet, like that would have been.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say is like, if everyone always says like, don't say anything immediately, but it's so much easier to say that outside of like just watching it happen versus it being you. Yeah. Because
yeah. I mean, like I would not wish what I went through on literally anybody. Like it was the worst week of my entire life. I'm good now. It's been almost a year since it happened. But like it was terrible. And like in that moment, the only thing that I could even think of doing was like, I have to address it and say something. But it was also like watching it, I was like, I don't know what I'm apologizing for. Like, of course, the whole scandal was like, it was so, like in my head, like at that moment, like I was so confused and so like frustrated and so hurt and like felt just like lost. So I filmed that video just trying to like quiet things down while I was able. I filmed that video knowing that it was going to be awful, but knowing that it would also give me time to take a step back, think about things, kind of figure everything out and like reevaluate what the next steps were going to be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, but just, I don't want to delve back into that. It was one of those, it was one of those situations where it was like, I feel like 9 out of 10 people, it would be destroyed from that. Yeah. And seeing you come out of that was kind of this amazing thing to watch.
Thank you.
Just because, and it's one of those things of that's not going to be the last time that ever happens, which is kind of this
scary,
weird, crazy thing. But something I wanted to chime on, because you touching on that, I more want to think of after the fact. Yeah. I think it might have been a Paper Magazine interview you did where I think I might be paraphrasing it, right? You said something along the lines of, I thought I'd feel normal by now, but it doesn't. Now it's been several months after that. Has that feeling changed?
A little bit. I would definitely I don't think I'll ever be fully like back to where I was in like 2018, which was like the height, like the peak of like everything that I was working on and stuff. I don't think I'll ever fully be back to like the just like excitement and the mental stability and like everything that I was at, because it was just like an upward hike at that point, which is like not realistic for anybody's career to go through. Like it's just a trajectory that doesn't exist. Like what goes up must come down at some point always. Hope like it's going back up right now, which I'm super grateful for, and like I said, positive vibes. But like I don't think like going through what I did, like I don't think will ever put me after what I've gone through, I don't think that I could ever be back at like where I was, but I almost am grateful for that in a way, because what I went through has shaped me so much and has changed me so much as a person in like positive ways. So like I wouldn't want that. Like it's been humbling, and like I still do have a big ego. I can openly admit that, but like it was good to like knock me down a peg and like understand like the people that I need and want around me, the friends that I can and can't trust, like how ruthless the beauty community actually is and what they will say or do when somebody's like a threat to others. And I think it was a lot of learning lessons all at one time, which was painful and really hard. But like I've I'm so much of a better person today than I was then. And like, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think it speaks to the idea of, I feel like a lot of people say positive vibes and then just like go back into the dirt, but it's,
I refuse.
But I mean, it is, if you kind of want to put a silver lining on it, it is an incredibly unique situation to be able to take everything, the people, everything in your life and kind of sift through what you can keep through the next thing.
Yeah.
I imagine at this point, it's like, okay, well, I know my ride or dies. I think it has to be scary to even some degree, even if people then resubscribe, how fickle, support can be.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it really, I mean, like when the original video was posted about me, like 3 million subscribers gone instantly. Sure. And it was obviously like that, like nobody has ever seen anything like that on YouTube before. And it, like so many people that even like I was super close friends with, like, we're tweeting and like we're posting things that were like, oh wow, like this sucks so much, like it really sucks to see like who your real friends are. And I'm like, oh my god, like are you literally like, there was one friend in particular that like I will not name, but like I was so close with, and she ended up posting something that was like, wow, like just really goes to show like what's really going on behind the scenes. And I like was like, how dare you, like you're one of the only people that like really knew me and like actually watched these things happen with these guys that were like literally talking to me only to try to ruin my life. And I was like, you're such a fucking liar. Like, oh, it was enlightening to see people that I thought that I was friends with join in on the bandwagon for the sole purpose of like getting likes, getting attention, and feeling like they were part of like the bigger crowd. Because most people were not willing, even if they knew that I was okay or were sending me texts in private, which I still did appreciate, but most people were not willing to stand up and say like, hey, this is a little suspicious. Like I know James and I don't think this is true. Which was like, it was like, damn, like it really goes to show like the people that you think are your friends, like are not. Like it's really,
it feels like it's probably a mixed bag of some, I mean, there are some shitty people. And then maybe it also kind of speaks to the effectiveness of like how social media can just manipulate our emotions.
Yeah.
Where we're like, oh, well, that's real.
Yeah.
Or like just immediately. And no matter how many times we tell ourselves, okay, wait, hold up. There's just something in our stupid human brains.
I think if anything, like it was a good learning lesson for everybody to like pause and like when something comes out, whether it be a scandal, a news article, a rumor about somebody, like pause and like evaluate all sides of it before like jumping to conclusions and like jumping down people's throats or like destroying somebody.
Yeah.
So like if anything, like I guess that's a positive that came out of it.
This job interview has gone off the rails.
I know. I don't think something like that will ever happen again.
Right.
Which is
you think that it'll never happen again? Well, maybe with you.
With me, no. I think at this point, like,
no. I think we can learn our lesson. It's gonna I'm a cynic. So you talk about positive vibes. I don't live that life.
I don't think anything again will ever happen to that scale because I think everybody involved was like, oh, this was far too much.
Yeah, I mean, it also comes into different scenario, different people.
I mean, there will always be scandals, like.
Well, because what I would say
the internet
is,
loves a scandal.
Because it's like you can look at it from a ton of different viewpoints. I think you could also look at it as let's say all the names, all the people, maybe the intentions change. Like there's if you just look at, if you're like an analyst and you're looking at the numbers, it wouldn't be crazy for something like this to be orchestrated in the future, not to the specific thing said, because that was always the crazy thing to me.
Right.
But yeah. So thank you for talking about that.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I hope you're still enjoying that podcast so I can take that happy feeling and ride that into a sponsorship. This one specifically, Vessi. And if you didn't know, Vessi makes 100% waterproof and weatherproof knit sneakers that are incredibly comfortable, breathable, and actually love the way they look. I mean, it's hard to find a lightweight shoe that actually keeps your feet warm and dry through rain, snow, mud, and Vessi definitely hits that mark. And they aren't just for the winter months either. Their Dymatex material is the first dual climate knit material. It regulates temperature, so keeps you warm in the winter and lets sweat and heat escape in the summer. And so whether you're going on a muddy hike, running errands in the rain, headed to the gym, yoga, walking the dog, just going to the park with the kids, whatever, these are the shoes for you. Not to mention also how insanely stretchy they are. It actually feels like I'm wearing a sock, but not in those weird web toe shoes kind of way. So if you want to experience the world's first 100% waterproof knit shoe and get $25 off your order, just head on over to vessifootwear.com/DeFranco. And back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Back to interview question.
Hello. Still applying for this job.
I was like, I'm gonna have to cut some of these questions to get to the other things because there's way too many of them. But this might be interesting. What was the last gift you gave someone?
Oh, I haven't actually given it yet.
Oh, will they have it by Wednesday?
Perhaps. I don't know. It was a cheetah print Balenciaga bag for my friend Laura, who just had her birthday and launched a lipstick little collection with a brand.
Oh, yeah. I have to watch like
I hate giving gifts.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I love the act of, I love helping my friends out. I'm the first person to like help them out, like give money wherever I can, like buy my friends things if they need it. But like I hate having to like think of something to like get them that I know they're not gonna like actually care about. Like I love a sentimental gift. Like I would so much rather like spend a week like drawing a charcoal portrait of like my friend and her son rather than like, oh, here's like a designer bag. Like I hate that so much, but I don't like have the time a lot of times to actually put together those sentimental gifts, where it's like I do always have to end up giving those like items that like are just don't mean a lot.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, because I'm a sporadic gift giver, so I'll give you something like that's either super dope or just nothing at all. Yeah. Just because I live inside of like a 24-hour, 36-hour window. What's the last gift you got that you really loved?
Oh my God.
Because everyone always says like, you're so hard to buy from.
Normally I don't like getting gifts at all either, but this one YouTuber named ZHC, his name is Zach, he's an art channel. He DM'd me a few weeks ago, was like, hey, I really want to customize a few things for you. Like, can I do that for a video? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. What do you want to do? He's like, what's your like favorite designer brand? And I was like, oh, Balenciaga. Why? He's like, okay, cool. Literally sends me back an IG DM like an hour later with like hands full of like massive Balenciaga bags, like full with boxes. And I was like, what are you doing? He comes to my house. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. Oh God. Like, I'm like dying. I'm like losing track of time. Yesterday. And he literally like bought me like $10,000 worth of different Balenciaga shoes, bags, like backpacks, and hand drew on all of them to like customize them.
Wow.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever received. By far the coolest thing another creator has ever done for me on the platform. And we filmed it for his channel and it was so cool. Like literally like hand painted like a whole like space design on like a little mini like Balenciaga backpack, like a purse. Wow. There's a backpack, a purse, a wallet, a
fanny pack?
Fanny pack, thank you. A fanny pack, slides, 3 different pairs of like the black sock shoes, and then 1 pair of like the triple S's. Wow. I was like, this is crazy. Like it just meant the world to me. I was like, this is so cool.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. And they were all turned out so good.
I have to watch like your videos and then essentially now just like 18-year-olds on TikTok to find out what is cool. I was like, TikTok. But I was like, like until I think you wore something or someone wore, I was like, what the fuck is Balenciaga? I don't spend my money on clothes. So I'm just like, what is that? Is that always been a thing or is that something that just came up?
What do you mean?
Balenciaga. I literally, this is the dumbest. People coming to watch for you were like, he has no taste.
Balenciaga's been around for quite a while. I am not the best person to ask in terms of like fashion type things because I've definitely had my fair share of like bad outfit moments, but it's something that's like a huge focus of mine at the end of 2019 and like going into 2020 is like better outfits, better put together things. Because like literally there got to a point where like my fans would literally know ahead of time like what I was going to wear to an event because it was the same thing every time, which was like sad and embarrassing. They're like, we've had enough of like the Balenciaga sock shoe, Adidas track pants, and like Sister Cities. It was like bad.
So do you have a designer then that helps you?
I have a stylist that works for me with like works with me
this
on,
is
like,
how
day-to-day stuff.
Not connected to this I am because I had someone else on. I was like, I think he might have mentioned it in the podcast, but that had one, and I was like, okay, you look dope. I was like, I need to do this, but I will not stick to these clothes. Also, I fluctuate like 50 pounds depending on the year. So I think having a stylist is like a weird thing because it's like getting dressed is such like a everybody gets dressed on like a daily basis, or at least I hope they get dressed on a daily basis. But like it's something that we all know how to do. But there are some people who are so much better at it than others, like which is so crazy to think about because it's just clothes, but like some silhouettes and some colors and some like things just go so much better together and like can really make somebody look so bomb. And like it's something where like once again I was stuck wearing the same Adidas track pants, my own merch, Sisters hoodies, and like Balenciaga shoes for like a good like year straight where my fans were like, we've had enough. Like you look awful. Like get over it and do something new. And I was like, oh yeah, like I am really sick of wearing the same thing in every photo. I feel like you have merch though that you can wear shorts as sisters, but it's not like you're wearing a shirt that says James Charles.
Right. Yeah. Well, yes, and that's why it's marketable. But like, even I was like, I'm so tired of wearing the same thing every day. Like, this is awful. So it's been like a major focus of mine to like get new things, try new colors, wear new silhouettes. Like, I used to only wear black and white. So like, even for me to have on like a cute denim jacket today is like good things moving in the right direction.
I was like, all I know is I want to go to a stylist and just be like, incorporate green, because this is the only color that I like to see myself in.
I hate green.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't like the color.
You're like, you're like, I'm going to be black in the crayon box as far away from green as possible.
I like pretty much every color except for like green and like yellow. Except in my YouTube video that I just uploaded today, I was wearing a neon green shirt. Looked awful. And it was like another reminder of like why I should never wear green.
So do you have that moment where you're just like, this is going to be, is it just for you, or is it literally something that the comments will all be about, that they'll swarm?
No, it's just for me. It was also, I did a Dua Lipa transformation video, which was everything. And she always wears bright colors. So I wore like a neon green shirt. And not only did it like not look the best on my skin tone, but because I filmed with so much light, it was also reflecting everywhere. So like if I would hold up anything, like it looked green, and my entire chin shadow was like bright green. So like not only did it make my chin like look fat, like whereas normally like the lighting is from above. So it's like heavy contour, like no double chin because it's just dark under there. It was like bright green. I'm like, this looks so unflattering. I was like, this is terrible. I'm never wearing this color again.
I was like, I've never gone out of my way, but like, I think I'm just over it. I don't know why. Like, even this is a horrible angle for me, but it's the most, but I'm just like, I don't care. Let's just keep it.
That's
even
the thought
with
that counts.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Just
well, everyone gets to that point eventually. And like, even like I was saying earlier, like I am perfectly comfortable without makeup, all the time. And like, I do go out in public all the time without makeup, but for me, like, I understand, like, when I'm meeting fans, like, doing a meet and greet and stuff, like, people want to see me, like, in a full face makeup, or at least, like, I thought, like, for some reason, like, I've always had this idea of, like, if I'm going to be, like, doing anything that's, like, on brand, like, whether it be a meet and greet, or, like, seeing people in public, or, like, filming, like, a TikTok, or, like, making an Instagram photo, like, I had to be in makeup, like, just because it's, like, on brand, but I've realized that, like, people don't actually care.
Yeah.
Which is like really exciting. Like I'm really pumped about that. Like I just posted a TikTok last week and
like less shit to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, getting ready takes a long time and like I love doing it, but like I like doing makeup looks that like take me 6-7 hours of detail, artistic like creations. Whereas like this, like yes, I feel beautiful and confident, but like this is not fun for me. Like this is just like it's part of the job of like getting ready to be like on brand. For example, like I'm at the podcast today, like with makeup on, contemplated not wearing makeup, like I said, but I looked too sickly to not wear it. So here we are. But like I posted a TikTok last week with, like without makeup on, and like it got, in fact, I think more likes than my previous one did with makeup. And I was like, wait a second, like this is everything. Do I not actually have to spend an hour and a half getting ready before I do these things? This is great.
I think it's one of those things where if you pepper it in, it's appreciated. Yeah. If you do it all the time, there's a potential that people will be like,
he got lazy and gave up.
Right? Yeah. Because people, it's very easy to go to like the worst thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok, is that the thing that you're probably the most excited about right now?
Yes. Well, aside from, I mean, I'm excited.
Well, I mean, there's another thing, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love TikTok. I'm obsessed with it. It's so fun. Like, are you literally kidding me? It's like my favorite app to just sit and scroll for hours.
I have to stay away from it because it's so easy to be like, oh my God, an hour's gone.
Yeah. It's so addicting, and the algorithm on it is by far the best of any platform ever, I think, because it gives everybody an equal opportunity to like do something with themselves,
right? Which
I think is so cool. Like I think that's been one of like the biggest complaints. I have to burp. Hold on.
Go for it. Yeah.
I think that's been one of the biggest complaints about like Instagram and YouTube for so long. It's like it's really hard to grow, especially now because the communities are so saturated. Whereas like TikTok, everyone has an equal opportunity to go viral if the content is good. Like how all platforms should be that way. Like if you're producing good, funny content that people are clicking on and are like enticed to watch, like you should be thrown into the algorithm to gain followers. Like that's how everything should work.
When you talk about, like when you were talking about your own growth, the certain, at a certain rate, some things unsustainable, the other shoe kind of always drops. Do you get both excited and nervous about, I think I've seen you shoot videos with people in the Hype House.
Yes.
Are you excited and nervous for them? Cause I mean, what is it? Charlie went from like 1 million to 20. Is it like 26?
She's at 24. She just hit today.
That's great. And it's like at a rate that is insane.
Yeah.
Like what, Like I get worried about like a lot of these young kids.
Me too. And I've talked to a lot of them, and like I'm really good friends with a lot of them too, which is super dope. They're all great people, by the way, as well, which is like super exciting because when that type of growth happens, it usually leads to a lot of problems and like a lot of like ego maniac, crazy, awful people.
Sure.
So like it's really exciting to see that like none of them have gotten there, at least yet. Knock on wood. Like, let's hope. But like they're all really great, and like even I've had a lot of sit down talks with them and be like, okay, like what are you working on? Like what are you doing? Like what are your plans to like keep doing TikTok, of course, but like make yourself into a brand? Because ultimately like that's like those are the people that succeed and like are able to make not only a huge income but like a long lasting empire. And right now like TikTok is great and I'm obsessed with it and like very addicted to it, but it's not monetized. So like you can't make money off of it unless you're getting brand deals, which is like not ideal. So like I've been the person to kind of be to them like, hey, like you should start making YouTube videos, like you should start vlogging, or like you should get involved with other things to like make sure that like they all like have other things to rely on. But at the same time too, like I don't want to come in and like be like the old grandpa to like, or like try to like be all their managers and stuff, because like I genuinely enjoy all of them like as friends, and like they all have such a good vibe to them, which is like the exact energy that I need and want in my life right now, is like good, positive, like happy kids that are just like having a fucking blast and like not worrying about social media too much. Like that's what like I am trying to focus on as well. So like it makes me happy hanging out with them too. So I'm like trying to find a balance of like, let's all be friends, but like I will try to help you if I can, but like not coming across in like a, hey, do this.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's always like a fine line with anyone that you could say like mentorship in a certain way. Yeah. Especially if it's like someone you like. But there are people in the community that are bigger than me that I'm friends with that even I still look at too as like a mentor. Yeah. Right. Whether it be for on camera or investment or personal life.
Yeah. I mean, I love giving advice and helping people where I can. And like that definitely will lead us into the show because like that's the whole point of it. But I'm like, I don't like I prefer being asked and then like giving rather than just like spewing advice and like suggestions, because like then
so unsolicited stuff.
Yeah, I don't love giving unsolicited advice because I feel like that can come across as like really like
well, and you always have to watch a little bit of people love to just emotionally shoot the messenger. Yeah. Of just like, no, I know. I mean, same point of you saying like you could never go back to having a boss. I could never go back to having a boss. Sometimes, especially if you're young, like you can take it as just some like a disrespect almost. Yeah. 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 But speaking of the thing you got, like you're like, yes, the perfect tie-in. What is the new show? Because I saw you tweeting, it had to be several months ago at the very least, about wanting to do something with smaller creators. Can you expand on that? What is that?
So I got the opportunity to film and executive produce my very own reality competition show that'll be on my channel in the spring. Awesome. Which is amazing. It's basically a competition show to find the next big beauty star. And there hasn't really been like many of them in like that have been made beforehand. But there's been none that have focused on the actual influencer space rather than like just makeup. Because the reality is of like being a beauty influencer is so much more than just having makeup talent. Like if we're being honest, like makeup talent is like the least like required skill to have in order to like be a successful beauty influencer.
It's more the personality, the drive.
It's like 90% the personality. It's like personality, marketability, ability to like talk to somebody on camera well, like charisma, having like creative video concepts and ideas, and then like it's of course important to like be able to blend your eyeshadow and stuff. This. Yeah. So I really wanted to create a show that like focused on the influencer aspect of it and like what it takes to do this job, and also like giving small influencers who I think really deserve it the resources, advice that is solicited, and like giving them those like tips and tricks that you can't find anywhere else. Because I came up in the industry about 4 years ago, like we were saying, and like a few people were like really, really great mentors to me, but like everyone, like there's no guidebook to being an influencer. Like you kind of learn as you grow. Same thing with like being a YouTuber or being any position like in entertainment space. Like you learn as you grow and you make your mistakes and you find what works and what doesn't work. Like, and like that's on that. Like there's no like specific like checklist of like what you should and shouldn't do. But there's definitely things that like you learn. And like I'm the type of person that like needs to experience things firsthand in order to like let something actually like sink in and like process. But if I can give advice to anybody and save them from scandals or making huge mistakes, or like give anybody like the proper resources and tips to like skip over that learning phase, like Hell yeah. Like I wish I had those type of things when like I first started and stuff. Like it would have made my climb a lot easier. So the whole point of the show is really to like give small artists and influencers advice, resources, and challenges to like actually push them in the right direction. So it's not a show that's focused on drama. It's not a show that's focused on like, go home, like you suck, like this person's better than you. It's really like everybody that gets on is like a winner because they're all going home with a wealth of knowledge that they couldn't have gotten anywhere else.
And the promotion
which I think
on
is
a related channel or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
How many episodes is it going to be?
It'll be 5 episodes. So it's a casting, it's like a meet the team episode and like how we created the show. And then it's 4 episodes of actual competition. So this is kind of like, this is season 1. So it's kind of like a pilot, if you will, I guess. Obviously with hopes that it gets picked up for season 2 to make it massive. But we kind of wanted to keep it small. And one of the things that's really cool about it is it's going on my channel and it's free. So it's with YouTube Originals, which is amazing.
I'm so glad they like changed the way that they do their stuff where it can go to everyone. Yeah.
Me too. And that was the biggest thing for me as well. It's like and originally it was actually self-funded. So I was able to secure sponsors of different beauty brands that I work super closely with. And we worked with our production company, Brian Graded Media, and we're going to make it just by ourselves for my channel for free because that was the biggest thing that was like important to me. But YouTube found out about it and was like, hey, we want to do this with you. And I was like, oh, thank you, huge honor, but like I'm not comfortable having people paying for this. And they're like, oh no, we can make it for free. And I was like, oh, do tell me more. Like, please, like so that was like a match made in heaven where I was like, I didn't even know that was a possibility. So I was super excited to not only get that opportunity, but also make that happen because like for me, like YouTube has been like my biggest resource of like creating my persona and creating my like kind of James Charles empire, if you will, I guess. And like so many other people have done the same thing through YouTube. So I really wanted to create, like it would just feel like, it would not feel right to have this amazing concept and have this amazing production team and film it for like a TV channel that like wouldn't really get that many views. Like if I had the opportunity to put it on my own channel and like, if I had the opportunity to make it as good as an actual TV show and like make it look like and feel like an actual TV show with huge crazy sets and high production budget, but like put it on my own channel where like my actual core audience get to watch it and like the actual core beauty community who the show is like directed at gets to watch it. Like, hello, that's a match made in heaven. Yeah. And like, that's exactly what I got to do, which made it so cool.
So kind of putting mentor James hat on.
Yeah.
Right. So that you can be solicited for this. What's a piece of advice that, and let's say this extends past the beauty community. What's a piece of advice that you'd extend to young creators out there that are trying to
my biggest thing that I always say whenever I'm asked this question is find whatever makes you unique and run with it. Because there's so many creators, especially young kids that have watched YouTubers come up and like have grown up watching the community just like I did, that see it and are like, oh my God, I want to do this one day. It's like the dream job. It's the best life ever. And see it and like, okay, I can do this too. Which, yes, of course, the whole point of YouTube is like anybody can become a creator, but the reality is not everybody can be a good creator. And like, that's like a harsh thing to say, but like, it is true. Some people are destined to be a superstar and some aren't. And like the people that you'll find that have really made a name for themselves or have made it to the top are ones that have found their niche or have found what they're really good at and have taken that all the way.
What about a piece of advice for someone that they just had like that moment where they went from 0 to 500,000, 0 to 1 million?
Yeah.
What would be something you'd say?
Keep going. Good job.
Just keep doing it.
Good job. Like, good job. Congratulations. Now keep going. Like, I feel like so many people get that little boost or like get that like one viral moment and think that like they've officially made it, which like we've all seen over the course of the last several years on the internet, like is not the reality of the situation. Like it definitely takes like a game plan, a marketing strategical whatever. I'm sorry. I'm like, my brain is like not working as it should.
The flu is slowly taking over.
It does take a game plan, and it takes like planning ahead of time and coming up with creative concepts and kind of figuring out like a roadmap to what you want to do in order to like create a long lasting career for yourself. Because if you just have that one viral moment and you're like, oh, I've made it, like that's not how it works. Like we've seen so many people that have came up and then died out slowly over time because people just didn't care or they didn't make an effort to change or elevate their content. And it's like people do get bored and people do want to always move on to the next thing. Whereas we've seen other creators that have been around since day one that have constantly evolved and constantly changed their content and constantly made an effort to get with the trends. And that's how you stay relevant and successful. And like I said, everybody can do YouTube, but there's only a select few people who have that mindset and who are able to kind of think in a forward direction to be able to actually make those changes.
Yeah, and then I will say I'm excited to see what this next generation looks like, just because we've seen so many faces come up in different ways on TikTok, and then, like you even said, then migrating off to try and either do something else different with that content, or if they do a vlog, or just the fact that they're planting roots elsewhere. That's been exciting. I said it on one of the last podcasts. The sketch comedy scene is like really bubbling up on TikTok.
Well, TikTok is funny. Like, there's so many people on TikTok that are fucking hilarious. Can you swear on this?
Yeah.
There's so many people on TikTok that are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I sit and scrolling and I'm like crying laughing at this point. And like, I truly feel like, and this might cause a controversy, but I truly feel like Vine walked so TikTok could like fucking sprint.
That's accurate.
Like, TikTok is so funny. Like, there are so many creators on there that are creating actually genuinely really funny, creative content. And I also feel like the humor on TikTok is dark, which personally I love.
Yes.
And it's not as like frowned upon to create that dark humor yet.
Not yet. No,
not yet.
It's weird because I saw there was
like, you can make some pretty raunchy jokes on TikTok and it like won't create too much of a scandal.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, is I saw like there was like I forget if it was like if it was a site or if it was just a thing on Twitter that blew up. People were like angry at Logan Paul because he wore a mask and said "fuck the coronavirus," and I was like, dude, if you're getting angry about that, don't go to TikTok. I was like, because those motherfuckers dark memes for days.
Which I mean I love. Like, I
feel like it's a coping mechanism. I don't
yes.
But and obviously there has to be like, you know, there's an understanding of sensitivities and such. But I think especially like when I look at the age range and like everything that's happening right now, I see it as comedy and probably very much a coping mechanism, and not people just trying to be disrespectful.
Agreed 1,000%. And it's, for me, I think it's exciting that kids within like that demographic that are watching that and consuming that content aren't getting as offended, because that means that like the new generation is coming up that will like hopefully be less
sensitive.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a word that like isn't awful, but like, yeah, sensitive, I guess it's a good word for
it. Well, James, I feel like you're fucked no matter what you say, because the word that would come to mind would be like triggered on things that aren't devastating. Yeah. Right. Where something where it's like the reaction makes sense compared to the thing that started it. Yeah. You know, I get that. So, but on the note of Vine walked so TikTok could run, do you think that Byte's doomed?
Yeah, it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna catch up. I mean, if it does, like, good for it, but I think it's TikTok is way too big right now and is like, I mean, because Vine was 6-second videos and like on TikTok now it's like 15 seconds. You can make shorter TikToks if like,
and you can do like up to like a minute or so. Something like that?
You can. Yeah. So I think like TikTok has everything that Vine had and like a million times more. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that there's any need for that, because like Vine was like the whole point of Vine was like funny, quick content that like grabbed your attention and it could like make people laugh. It was like super shareable content, and now TikTok is that and more. I feel like a lot of those guys, I feel like when they moved over to Instagram while Vine was still there, and they were trying to like, I think trying to get money from the place that they had blown up and were making relevant. A lot of them, I think, started going like, oh, I can make slightly longer content, which then easily, well, not always, but translates more to a TikTok rather than trying to then pull back. I downloaded the app just so I could get Ben Logical's name, just to fuck with him. That's it. That's all. Somebody already took James Charles, and James Charles with an extra F after Charles. So annoying. I was like, I'm not even gonna bother. Do you get like then message and they're like, I could give it to you if you pay me. I don't even care. Yeah. I don't. That's how little you give a fuck about Byte. You're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Make videos. I mean, for me, like I downloaded TikTok when it was Musical.ly, like probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and I got the username James Charles at the time, and like I made like 2 or 3 Musical.lys. They were terrible. Like they were absolutely rancid. Was it one of those like where it's like you do everything like a quarter speed and then it's like a dance move? Like a lips. It was. I think one of them was like one of them I did to like Noah Cyrus, like Make Me Cry. That song that was like popular like a million years ago. It was like the I never needed you. A million years ago. How dare you? And it was just like this like makeup video, but it was like I looked so ugly in it. Like it was. Do you feel like you've been on
YouTube forever, but it's only been 4 years.
It feels like it's been an eternity. With what I've gone through, yes, it's been an eternity.
Hearing that from people that have like been there for 4 years. I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna die.
I mean, 4 years is a long time, but like, there's been people that have been on for 13, so I am in no position to talk.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the like people in your range, I think, have a lot of staying power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I hope so.
Well,
I'm like, oh.
Well, James, I don't know what. What could fucking take you out?
At this point, I'm still here, so I don't know. But I downloaded Musical.ly like 2 years ago, and then I forgot about it completely. I was like, this is not my gig. Clearly, I'm not talented at this. And then once it transitioned to TikTok last year, I only re-downloaded it a few months ago. But then I had like 1 million followers already at the time, and like already had the username James Charles, and I just started posting, and I just instantly started gaining so quickly. And like now I'm at like 8 million followers after only posting I think I've only posted like 20, 30 TikToks max. Like I said, algorithm lit, love it, so fun. Like I think it's a good vibe. It's just like, I think it's a cool opportunity for kids to go on and not care. And I think that's what we need so desperately right now, is to stop fucking caring so much. Like there's a time and place for produced high quality content. I'm clearly like a huge fan of it, but I think it's so fucking cool to just sit down and and spend 20 minutes learning a stupid dance to like whatever song is viral right now and like filming it. Like I think that's so cool, and it's so different than what we've ever seen before in social media, but like it's cool, and like it just like shows a more real, relatable side to not only the creators that we've already known and loved, but like these new kids that are coming up that are like doing something fun. And I think that like so many people are like, oh, they don't have any talent. It's like, who cares? Like, if you're making a 15-second video too, you don't have any talent either, but like you got 100,000 likes. Like, why do you care? Like, also dancing is hard. Okay. Like I'm fucking awful at dancing. Dancing is a talent. So I'm here to defend Charlie D'Amelio. That girl's talented. Well, and it clearly takes something like
watching. So if we talk about public reaction, watching her blow up, then that turn into everyone hating her, then it turning, or not everyone, but like, it was popular.
A lot of people. There was a lot of people that were shitting on her for no reason.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything.
There was like that whole, it's like the constant thing of like, why does she deserve the hype?
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, give the hype to this person.
Who cares?
But then
literally, who fucking cares?
But I think also probably something that helped her was the fact that she was like, yo, I'm 15. I am an actual person.
Yeah.
Like, it's not okay to fucking dunk on me all day.
I mean, she's like spoken out a lot about like, she like kind of addresses it a lot, being like, stop. Like, I'm a 15-year-old girl. Like, I'm just doing this for fun. Like, stop attacking me. And I think that like, that's really cool that like, instead of just ignoring it or like pretending like it's not affecting her, like kind of openly talking about the fact that like, it is hard to deal with. Like, that's something that I've been really adamant about, of course, over my social media journey, as like, yeah, like this is great, and like this has brought me a lot of fun opportunities and like a nice bank account and like cool designer clothes and a beautiful house and like all those things. Yes, I'm extremely grateful for, but like the pressure and like what comes with this job are things that I would not wish on like anybody, and are things that most human beings could not handle. Like, I think it's so easy to sit at home and leave a hate comment and then be like, oh, like you're stupid, like you're obnoxious for responding to this, or like you're obnoxious for giving into this. But it's like, you have no idea how that feels to receive those type of comments when they're coming in waves of tens of thousands, if not millions, depending on how bad whatever you said or did is. Like, it's not normal. It is not normal for any one human being to hear hundreds of thousands of opinions, either positive or negative, about them. Like, the human brain is like not ready to deal with that type of either love or hate at any given time. Like, nobody's ready for that or trained for that. Like, it's not normal. It's not normal. And some people are better at handling that than others. But like, I respect her a lot for openly talking about like, it's not easy to deal with, and it's not normal for people to leave these type of comments. And like,
yeah, I was like hitting on a similar note on somewhere we were at, not as heavy. What's your genuine reaction to, it's like, it's a meme on TikTok. It's happened on Twitter as well, of like someone doesn't realize it's you in like a wig and a dress.
I think they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah?
I think they're funny. I mean, obviously it's a little bit of a touchy subject after what happened last year, because like everyone thought that I was like, whatever, like manipulating straight guys and stuff. So that is always like it feels
like those are two separate
things. But some people are able to look at it as a joke, and some people will be like, oh, he's still trying to catfish to like get these straight guys, which is so fucking stupid.
That's my head wouldn't have gone there. Well,
I'm glad that it didn't.
Well, my head was more of like, does it feel like it's like, oh, everyone's in on the joke, or like part of the joke is, oh, you got tricked, or something like along the lines of that. Because I feel like the more that I've seen it evolve, it feels like more people are like, hey, we're all like just having fun.
Yeah, I think it's very much the latter. Like it is funny. Like it's hilarious. Like, are you kidding me? Also, like I look great in a way. Like it's so funny. So I mean, for me, like I'm confident being a boy. Like I'm not transgender. But I do love taking a photo in a wig or like putting on a dress just to like play with gender and like play with self-expression. Like it's fucking fun, and like it's super cool to like, obviously my job is makeup and stuff, but it can get redundant. So it's really cool to like try out a makeup transformation and literally like use contouring and use highlighting to change my facial structure and to see like if I can actually feminize myself for a photo. Like that's cool. And it's like part of my job and like my wheelhouse to like transform. And like, of course, it's just like fun to like post a cool photo and have people be like, oh my God, like, how do you even look like this? Like, it's just like part of what I do. And like, it's just fun. And like, it's become a running joke at this point. And like, I think it's hilarious.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I just wanted to take a second to thank one of the sponsors of today's episode, Manscaped.com. You know, when manscaping, you always have to use the right tools for the job. And as you might have guessed, that's where Manscaped comes in. And a big announcement here, after more than 18 months of research and development, the Manscaped engineering team has successfully created the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. It was released just moments ago when we are the first to confirm the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 manscaping trimmer is now available for purchase. The third generation Manscaped trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology to prevent manscaping accidents, and a battery that lasts up to 90 minutes so you can take a longer shave, along with a rapid charging dock powered by USB. And hey, if you use the Lawnmower 2.0, it's an easy transition because it's the same replacement blade. And a few other cool new features include an LED light which illuminates grooming areas for a closer trim, and an upgraded 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And best of all, by entering code DeFranco, you get 20% off your Manscaped order and free shipping. So yeah, main point, click that link in the description down below, or just go to manscaped.com, make sure you use code DeFranco, get started today, and believe me, your balls will thank you. But with that, back to the podcast.
What do you think? I was thinking about this a month ago and it just popped it back in my head. What are your thoughts on, in the makeup space, it feels like a lot of the top creators for a product that seems like primarily purchased by women are men?
I think it's fine. And I think it's great that we're moving into a time where like wearing makeup is good for everybody.
It's a little more fluid.
Yeah, it's fluid. Like, I don't, of course, love how like there are so many men in power that have like taken the positions from women throughout like all of history and throughout like other.
Does that also, in your experience, does that stand, or is that accurate for behind the camera too? Like obviously, like if I go into a Morphe store, I'll see your face, but I mean, like the people actually at the companies, is that very male, or is it mixed?
No, not in makeup, I will say. Okay. Like that's, I mean,
obviously, we're talking with a broad brush here.
For the most part, no. There are a lot of really important women in power in the makeup community, but in other industries, of course, like there are so many old white men that have been in power forever, and I hate that because like there are so many incredible women that deserve equal pay, and like I'm a huge advocate for women's rights and just everybody being equal and supported and loved. So it doesn't feel the best that it is that way in the makeup community, but I think it's really important that the public and everybody know that like wearing makeup is fine and is not gender exclusive, I guess is a better way to put it.
On your upcoming show, how many people do you have on, and what's the breakdown?
6 contestants, 3 boys and 3 girls.
Okay, yeah.
So it was completely split. That was really important for me as well when we were casting, to like make sure that it was diverse and also like split down the middle of like everybody being even.
Kind of jumping back, because I said I wanted to ask questions about the job interview rather than going straight into a childhood like I do on previous podcasts. What was your childhood like?
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
I grew up in upstate New York, so it's kind of chill, like very suburban type life. My parents were super amazing growing up. My dad was a contractor, and he was self-employed, so he taught me a lot about like business and how to like make money and like how to work for what I wanted. And my mom was like more of like an artsy, crafty type of mom. So I think that like definitely played a role into like my skill set now. I did really well in school growing up. Like school came kind of easy to me, to be honest.
Yeah, when you were talking about AP classes, and I think you've talked about a 4.2 GPA.
4.0, not 4.2. I wish it was a 4.2.
I was one of those kids that took AP classes and then I did horrible in them. I was like, oh, I should not have taken literally.
I did all of them except for APUSH, AP US History. Not my thing. I hated history.
But, like AP Bio, you're like, yeah, you're good.
I took like all honors classes and stuff. So like school for me came really easy. I really like learning and I value education a lot. Obviously, I didn't end up going to college, but that was only because I had a career path already lined up for me. But yeah, I mean, I was a very social kid. I always had a lot of friends around. I was always like a very crafty kid, always working on new things. So
when
keep burping. This fucking tea is sorry.
I love it. We're gonna do a hypercut of it.
Oh geez.
That's how we open.
Please do.
Wait, no. So it's an interesting question to me just because it's obviously so different from my childhood. At what point did you have a conversation with your parents of just like, this is who I think I am?
When I was 12, and I did a video about this. I got caught online late one night.
Sure.
Doing my business to some gay things. So they kind of caught me. My dad actually walked in on me, which was embarrassing as fuck.
How like coy you are about
it. It's just like, oh my God, it's such an uncomfortable thing to talk about. My dad walked in on me doing my business to watching gay porn, which was so embarrassing at age 12. Now I can laugh at it, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, they knew. Like it was painfully obvious growing up. Like I don't think it was any surprise to either one of them, but it was nice because it did make the conversation more of like, hey, we love you, we support you, but like this is not the best thing for you to be doing. Like you should be careful about this. So like, please don't do this again, rather than like, oh my God, you're gay type of situation.
Wait, don't do this again. You mean the computer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh my God, like we don't know who's watching. Like be careful with this type of stuff.
Sure.
Like,
okay,
so it's more of like an
healthy.
internet safety type of conversation rather than like a you're gay type of situation, because they knew. So I was like almost glad that it happened that way, because like I also like didn't have to be like, hey mom, dad, guess what, I'm gay either. So like kind of knocked out like a few birds with one stone with that one, to be real. But yeah, it happened when I was 12. And then I slowly started coming out to like my close friends after the fact, and everybody was super supportive. I was very lucky to have like a lot of support growing up, and even in my school system too. Like I was very grateful for not only the kids in my school, but also the teachers, but most importantly, the administrative staff. I was really close with them, and I would not be here today if it were not for like my high school dean and administrators, because they were so lenient. Basically, like CoverGirl happened when I was in the beginning of my senior year, but I had already started doing like my Instagram and stuff beforehand. So I started with CoverGirl once I had like, I think around 300,000 followers. But I was already busting my ass to like put together content and like start the YouTube channel, like work hard on it beforehand. So towards the beginning of like my senior year and stuff, once I got the CoverGirl opportunity, like I was getting calls and emails to like fly out to LA every single week. And for our semesters were split into, or like our school was split into 10-week quarters. 10-week quarters. It's like a semester was 20 weeks. So for the first, I graduated early, so I ended up only going for my first semester of senior year. But for the first 20 weeks of school, I was only actually in school for 3 weeks out of 20, because the other 17 were spent in LA, flying back and forth or working on different projects. And that is like obviously not normal. But that would not have been possible if it were not for my deans and high school administrators like understanding what I was doing and like being supportive of that job path, which was fucking dope. Like I'm so grateful for that. And like I value education in school so much, but I also think it's really important that like for schools to understand and for teachers to understand that like not everybody follows the same path. Not everybody will start in elementary school, go to middle school, go to high school, go to 4 years college, or maybe even 8 years college, get their bachelor degree and get their doctorate or whatever, and then go to like a typical 9-to-5 job. And I think it's really important that like while through school teachers are giving students the proper education in order to be successful, they're also teaching them actual life lessons of like, hey, here's what you're going to need when you get out of here. Like here's how to be a real adult and stuff, which I feel like isn't actually taught enough. Like you kind of go into the real world being like, oh shit, like what do I do now? Like, how do I actually like be an adult? Hello. Yeah. So for me, it was really exciting, and I'm really grateful for the fact that my deans were so supportive of me taking on like this job and like giving me the freedom to take time off. Of course, I was literally doing schoolwork on the plane ride and like taking tests like when I got back and stuff. So I was still getting everything done just like everybody else, but it was on a different schedule. And I'm really, really grateful that I was able to make that work, because if I hadn't, I would not be here today. And I can say that with full confidence.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see. I'm just now starting to see how schools have been changing, just because my oldest is about to go into kindergarten, and we've been doing these weird school tours and stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing them actually, to your point, teach life skills, even to like the most specific of digital citizenship, which is the weirdest thing. Like they talk about like, like how you consume things online, how you act online, because I feel like especially me coming up, there's such a disconnect to me as a person. I'm a complete different person online, not accurate. Like that, I feel like a lot of people, well, there are a lot of people that operate that way, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see even how that changes. Obviously, LA schools are different than where I grew up. I was like in North Carolina.
It's also like I grew up in New York, which is a very progressive state, and like it wasn't a more I like went to one of the best school districts in New York, and I live in LA, so I was lucky enough to already be in an environment that was supportive and like kind of more understanding and accepting to begin with. So I know that unfortunately not other places will always be the same way, but I think it's really important that like administrators and teachers understand that and are like supportive of their students and are like helping them on a career path, no matter what it is, to get there.
Yeah. I saw in a recent interview, you there was the topic of your own makeup line being brought up, and you specifically saying you don't want to just like slap your name on something.
Yeah.
It's the development process that stands out to you. What is it about that you love, or what's your experience with it thus far?
Well, so I've been doing this for 4 years now, and whenever I was prompted in interviews if I wanted to do my own line, I always said no, because the community is so saturated. Like there are so many different makeup brands and so many products that are released every single week that literally nobody cares anymore. And like it sucks to say that, but like I don't need a fucking another foundation. Like I have 80 of them. I don't need another mascara. I have 300 of them that all do the same thing, and which is not great. Like none of them are that great. Like nobody really needs new makeup. And I feel like at this point, the beauty community, like everyone that's like a fan of it has their products that they use on a daily basis, and nobody's running out of their concealer every day. Like nobody needs to go out and buy a new concealer every single week. Like it takes a while to get through makeup products. So that was always like my kind of biggest reason for like, this is just not necessary. Like I just don't need, like I never wanted it to be a cash grab, I guess is the best way to put it. But once I created my palette with Morphe, I loved the development process, and it was really cool for me to be able to like create something that I saw as a gap in the market, which was a palette that could create any look that you could bring everywhere and like have for both artists and everyday makeup lovers. And like the process for me to like come up with that idea one night, and then like I was like, oh my God, wait a second, this doesn't exist yet. Like this has to happen. And then like to find that gap in the market, to conceptualize it, to design it in Photoshop, to meet with Morphe, to start testing all the shades, to design everything, and then like to actually see it, or then to film the campaign commercials, which was one of the most fun weeks of my entire life, and then to actually launch it and then have it get in millions of people's hands. It was so fun. Like it was something that I will never forget, will forever be grateful for. And like the fact that like it's still selling to this day, which is like so mind-blowing to me. Like I actually like had like a breakdown on Christmas, a good one, but like makeup, like I said, is so saturated, and like there are so many products that launch like every week at this point where like nobody cares anymore. And it's sad because a lot of times like it's really good things that are launching, but it just gets overshadowed by something that'll come out like the next day at this point. So the fact that this Christmas marked a year since my original palette had released, and kids were still, basically the night before Christmas, to backtrack a second, I tweeted being like, hey, if you guys get the palette tomorrow morning, like tweet me a photo. Yeah. Just like for fun. Because I was celebrating Christmas with my friend's family who's Mexican, and Mexican families always celebrate the night before on like the 24th at midnight. Fun fact for you. Yeah. So I started getting tweets at like midnight that night after we had all like spent time together. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So I tweeted that night being like, hey, if anybody opens the palette either tonight, like late at night, or tomorrow morning, like tweet me a photo. And on December 25th, Christmas Day, I swear to God, every like 10 seconds that day, it did not stop from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. Every 10 seconds, it was a new photo of somebody opening the palette. Either a 20-year-old mom, an 8-year-old little girl, a 15-year-old boy who's trying it out for the first time, or a 40-year-old drag queen who was excited to test it out. Like all day long. It was thousands and thousands and thousands of people that were opening the palette. And I started crying so many times throughout the day seeing those photos because it just made me so emotional and grateful to think that like it's been a year. And after all the products that have launched, after everything that has happened in the community, after everything that I've been through the past year, people still want this palette and want to experiment with it and want to play with color and like understand like what it means to me.
See, that's the
like
thing.
That was fucking cool.
Yeah, is when it comes to makeup, I can understand why for someone putting something out, it could be so meaningful. Because it's like if you have merch, sure, you're part of someone's like day, they wanted to rep you. But like, I don't know, there's if I put on like the romantic hat for a second, thinking like, okay, I might be a part of someone's wedding. I'm going to be a part of someone's job interview. I'm going to be a part of like the day where I was like just maybe didn't have that extra bit of confidence, but maybe I do now.
It's not even like
I love that.
Not even the special one.
It's
like literally just like feeling confident and feeling beautiful. Like it's so fucking cool. And it's something that unfortunately with the current social sphere and like what kids deal with on a daily basis, whether it be in school or on social media, a lot of kids don't feel confident on a daily basis, which sucks and like is so hard. And it's something that like I push for a lot on my channel is like it's important to love yourself both with and without makeup, and like makeup is a fun way to express yourself and to be artistic and stuff. But like I push my followers like I do not want you guys to layer on 8,000 pounds of makeup and like that's your only way to feel beautiful. Like it's something that's so important for me. So like it's really cool to know that like people can put on like a blue smoky eye or like a neon green cut crease, like using my palette and like feel powerful and confident. Like it can give them that source of like happiness and that they may not have had before.
With the makeup market being saturated, like you were saying, with us over the past, I'd say decade, let's kind of go loose, seeing more and more faces associated with, collab launches, like individual makeup lines themselves. Do you feel like the future, let's say the next 5 years, for something to sell very well, do you think a personality is going to have to be attached to it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. I think that if it is a personality that's attached to it, it has to be somebody that genuinely cares. I think right now there's a huge trend of every single celebrity ever dropping a makeup line just because Rihanna did, and it worked really well for her a few years ago. And a lot of people aren't really buying into it because it's kind of coming across as like very cash grabby, which is, I mean, I would have to agree for a lot of the cases that we've seen so far. So I'm not mad about that public perception. But I think there's also some brands that don't have a personality attached to it that are genuinely focusing on innovation and having a cool message to it. And I think that that's what's going to work. Like, I think for me, like innovation, like I was saying beforehand, like creating that palette and finding that gap in the market for me was what made me want to create that palette in the first place. And I will have that mentality for every single product that I create when I do launch my brand. Like, I refuse to slap my name on a stupid highlighter or a liquid lipstick that we've all seen before because nobody cares. And like, the last thing that I want is somebody to be like, oh, I want to buy this nude liquid lipstick just because James's name is on it. Like, that I think is so fucking stupid. And so dumb.
Yeah.
So like for me, like innovation is my biggest, most important quality that I'm going to be focusing on with my brand to make sure that every product is something that we actually haven't seen before and that can actually bring something new to the community. And like, if people are going to buy it, they're getting something that they, and if people are going to buy it, they're getting something that they don't already have 8 of in their kit.
So regarding a face not being attached to it, what company or what line would you say is innovating right now? And I apologize because I know that you'd probably get paid for this otherwise.
I feel like Glossier is a really good one right now because they're really focused on like kind of like not natural, but like more of like that runway model type of beauty rather than like caked on beauty guru glam, which I personally really like. Like, I think it's a cool contrast to what we've seen. They're doing like a lot of new stuff. I think that ColourPop does not have a name attached and they're doing really great because they launch new products like every 5 minutes, which to some people may come across as ridiculous, and it is, but they do everything at such an affordable price point that people are able to actually get a hold of a bunch of launches without it breaking their bank account. And I think that the fans think that's really cool. And they do collabs, but like their brand is not like faced by one singular person. So I think that that's really dope.
Is there like a number one go-to economic brand? Like, as far as like the most affordable, but it
I feel like Morphe has kind of become that like one that like everybody.
You would know.
I know. Well, I mean, yes, I would, but it's also true. Use code DANCE for 10% off. But it's also true. It's like Morphe really became that one brand because makeup brushes were crazy expensive and were awful quality. So when like the Jaclyn Hills and the Nikki Tutorials of the world like started coming up, and like Jaclyn was using Morphe in every single video, and everyone's like, oh my god, like these are really good quality makeup brushes for a super affordable price. Like everyone jumped on the bandwagon. So like I feel like Morphe is a good example, and ColourPop as well is a good example of makeup brands who produce like good quality stuff for like an affordable price. Whereas like beforehand it was like just like the Marc Jacobs of the world and like the like, I mean that was a bad example. No, Marc Jacobs is good, but like I mean like every brand in Sephora it's like pretty expensive if we're being honest. It's like it was like there was a time period where like makeup was so like MAC was a great example too of like a $50 foundation or like a $50 pressed powder, like a $40 blush, like which is crazy. I mean, I guess not crazy because some people still do buy, and like I have several $40 blushes in my collection, but like Morphe was like one of the first brands to be like, hey, here's you guys have your $40 brushes. Oh my god, I literally cannot speak today. Holy fuck.
Which is perfect for a podcast.
Morphe,
no, you're great. You're killing it.
Morphe was one of those first brands to be like, hey, you guys over here in Sephora have like your $50 eyeshadow palettes, but here's 35 colors for like $23.
Sure.
And like for the consumer, like everyone was like, what? Like, how is this even possible? Like, this is crazy. It's like they were one of the first ones to kind of like bring that. Not one of the first, because BH Cosmetics did it long before them. But Morphe was one of the ones that kind of like, I feel like did it right in the sense of like bringing it in, or like coming up with the concept, bringing it to the public, getting influencers to back them to really grow the brand, and then like blowing up.
Yeah. So James, last question I always try and ask someone. What's the best piece of advice you've received? We're taking your mentor hat off.
Oh geez.
It doesn't have to be business. It could be, well, no, I don't know. You had a good high school experience, which is very rare for creators.
I know, I feel like it is. Every creator, like, I feel like so many creators like hated high school, hated school in general.
For the most part, like I just didn't exist. But wait, I don't want to derail it.
You know, that was actually something that I was hoping you were going to ask about, because you know how I feel like everyone always talks about like beauty. The beauty community is like such an outlier of like being like the worst place ever on YouTube. For some reason, I've been theorizing about this, and I thought you were going to ask a question about this, so I was thinking about it in the shower.
Okay,
this morning,
hit me with the question.
So many communities. Okay, like last night in bed, for example, I was watching a woman who made like soap videos. She's like a soap creator.
Sure, yeah.
And she uploaded a video that was like 9 other soap channels that you should go check out. And I was watching it, she was like, this organic soap channel is like beautiful. I love the woman Melissa who runs it, and like her designs are incredible and like really innovative and stuff. And then this creator Becky like really takes her packaging to the next level. And I was like, this would never happen in the beauty community. Like something like this would never ever happen in a million
might not
years.
happen in the soap community if there's 7-8 figure deals associated to shit.
Right. But I think like on the topic of like people in school, I think a lot of the communities on YouTube are kind of people that were like outcasts at one point. Like,
I think that's changing more and more. Especially
yes,
like
I agree.
The TikTokification.
I agree for sure. But I think a lot of like the bigger people that we have now that have come up on YouTube over the past several years have been people that like came to YouTube as an escape, that like didn't have a lot of friends, or maybe like not weird, but like weren't the popular kids at school.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like beauty was the popular kids. So it's like beauty was like a lot of the people that were naturally pretty, or like that like were used to like putting on a show, or like being entertaining, or like at least like knowing how to make themselves pretty, and then which naturally comes with an ego. And then instead of putting a bunch of people who weren't popular in a room together, whereas like those people were like will naturally be supportive of one another and like understand how they grew up and like want to be supportive and want to be kind to one another. Whereas like on the other spectrum, like with the beauty people or people that have a big ego, when you put those people together, they're just gonna clash and fight and like all like want that top position.
I'm intrigued by this theory.
I thought about this in the shower this morning, and I was like, Did I just crack the code?
You're like, that's what it was.
I was like, it's weird. It's weird.
You're like, we all needed more emotional baggage and more and less less acceptance.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but like I thought about it and I was like,
interesting.
Oh my god, like a lot of us like were like not necessarily like I mean, everyone had like a glow up at least, but like some of us were pretty or like had a good high school experience. Like, I mean, I was butt ugly when I first started doing makeup. Like, some of those first photos when I had a man bun, disgusting.
Oh, like in your senior yearbook picture.
Disgusting. But I will say, like, at least I was a very social person. So like I had a lot of friends. Like, I was not super popular, but like I like knew how to like be friendly and like have people over all the time and like be like a little social butterfly. So I don't know. There's something to dig into with that.
So wait, maybe the advice everyone should have gotten is you need a humbling moment very early on. Maybe that makes you a more well-rounded person. That's the only way I can try and turn that into a positive. Otherwise, I'm just like, you're all too pretty and you're horrible.
It's a weird thing to think about, and obviously that's not goes for everybody. Like, there's a lot of really amazing people in the beauty community, so I don't want to make it seem like it's some awful.
I mean, that's always hard because when you're trying to talk in generalities, everyone goes, he's saying that about everyone, right? No,
and it's not. There are some really, really amazing creators in the beauty community. Oh my god! Since I talked about that soap lady doing that, I should try to do the same thing. Actually, let me give a shout out to a few people that I think are doing good things.
Yeah. Who?
Raw Beauty by Christy, amazing creator, beautiful woman. Working on her home renovation with her husband. It's been a fun series to watch. I think she's really honest. Who else do I really love watching? Nikki Tutorials just came out as trans. Fucking love her. She's focused on creativity over the past few years, and I love that she's never let like anything get in her way of just like focusing on makeup and love. I love watching Jacqueline's videos. She was literally the person who got me into makeup in the first place and like made me want to buy my first makeup products.
Wow.
I think Manny MUA is an amazing person doing amazing things, and he is one of the funniest people that I've ever met. Nima Tang, love her so much. I think she's such an advocate for inclusivity in the community, which we absolutely need. I love Sada E, one of genuinely the nicest people that I have ever met in my entire life, and she has a beautiful, perfect skin. Louis Castro, love him so much. One of my hermanas. There's lots of good people in the community.
I like this. It feels like we're ending on a very, very
positive note. Yeah. I guess my best, I don't know what my best piece of advice that I've ever gotten has been.
I think we can just end on you giving shout outs, even though it's the internet. It's going to get twisted to be like, notice how he didn't say blank.
Well, yeah. Notice how I didn't say specific people. I'm not even going to.
Oh, no. We were ending on a positive note.
Well,
James, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Phil. I really appreciate it.